Nairobi for discussions aimed at strengthening bilateral relations. The two leaders reaffirmed the long-standing ties between Kenya and Lesotho, emphasizing their commitment to deepening cooperation. And now, following their talks, President William Ruto announced that both governments had directed their foreign ministers to convene the Joint Commission on Cooperation to identify new areas for collaboration. Key topics of discussion included economic partnerships and diplomatic engagements to bolster ties between the two nations. Additionally, President William Ruto and King Letsie III programs in both countries. They acknowledged the positive impact these initiatives have had on education, citing improvements in school attendance, learning outcomes, and child nutrition. Both leaders expressed their commitment to further enhancing these programs to support students' well-being and academic performance. Today, President William Ruto conferred a charter to Riara University and bestowed honors upon Mr. Daniel Gachukia and Professor Ida Gachukia during a ceremony at State House, Nairobi. This event marked a significant milestone in Kenya's higher education sector.
Today, President William Ruto conferred a charter to Riara University and bestowed honors upon Mr. Daniel Gachukia and Professor Ida Gachukia during a ceremony at State House, Nairobi.
My husband and I feel a deep sense of gratitude, knowing that we have served our country well, and thousands, even millions of Kenyans have been impacted by the Riara Group. In this regard, please accept our heartfelt and sincerest gratitude, Your Excellency, sir, for accepting to award a charter to Riara University.
During his speech, Ruto emphasized the role of education, which is a key to prosperity and a sense in which it is the foundation upon which we build a strong dynamics, resilience, secure and innovative society.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am certain that we all agree that the commendable growth and expansion of our higher education sector must be accompanied by a consistent commitment to the highest standards, as well as intentional, innovative, and forward-thinking strategies in order to align with the endlessly evolving needs of our economy and our society as well.
Reflecting on the nation's journey, he noted that in 1970, Kenya had only 2 universities, 1 public and 1 private, serving about 3,000 students. Today, however, the country boasts a total of 79 universities, with over 570,000 students enrolled. He congratulated Mr. Daniel Gachukia and Professor Edith Gachukia for playing pioneering role in the education section for over 50 years. Ruto discussed the issues of public university debt, which had exceeded to 120 billion Kenyan shillings. He acknowledged the serious financial strain this debt had placed on universities, affecting their ability to provide quality education and manage their operations effectively.
I have disclosed before that by the end of 2022, our public universities had accumulated debts exceeding 120 billion, with 23 of them struggling and on the verge of bankruptcy.
On help issues, he said help released 1.5 billion Kenya shillings on Friday. And yesterday, an additional of 4.5 billion Kenya shillings was released also, bringing a total disbursement of 36.6 billion Kenya shillings.
And as I promised last week, help released 1.5 billion last Friday, and yesterday an additional 4.5 billion, bringing the total disbursement to 6 billion for students active.
He further said they are working with development partners to ensure the building of 1,600 laboratories in schools which do not have the facilities.
Contains all the commitments.
Paris Kigo, GBS News.
So, congratulations.
Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has confirmed ongoing diplomatic efforts to halt the execution of Kenyan national Margaret Nduta in Vietnam. Speaking during a joint press briefing with Dutch Foreign Affairs Minister Kaspar in Nairobi, Mudavadi stated that his ministry was in continuous talks with the Vietnamese government to seek clemency for Nduta, who was sentenced to death for drug trafficking. He disclosed that Kenya had received official documents on her charges but was still awaiting Vietnam's final response. Acknowledging the complexity of the case, Mudavadi expressed optimism that diplomatic negotiations could lead to a positive outcome. It was not pleasant that Kenyan is facing such a situation. My ministry, through the Principal Secretary, has been engaging with his counterpart in Vietnam to explore possible mitigation, he said. However, the CS clarified that the government was not challenging the verdict, but rather appealing for mercy on humanitarian grounds. Beyond Duta's case, Mudavadi revealed that approximately 1,000 Kenyans were imprisoned abroad for various offenses. However, he noted that the government had not been provided with details of their specific crimes. Calls for Nduta's repatriation have intensified following reports that she unknowingly carried drugs in a suitcase while working for a man identified as John. Despite her defense, a Vietnamese court sentenced her to death by lethal injection on March 6th. Samuel Tompoi, a gallant soldier who died in the line of duty in Haiti, has today been laid to rest in Kajiado County. A 31-year police officer was killed in Haiti during the United Nations peacekeeping during this confrontation with the gangs. Leaders who attended his burial includes the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, DAP party leader Eugene Wamalwa, Kajiado County Governor Joseph Olelengu, among other. Eulogized Samuel as a brave and a hero who was determined to serve his nation, as Davis Karani reports.
The burial of Kenya's fallen police officer who lost his life during the Haiti peacekeeping mission was filled with emotions as leaders who were present here mourned the gallant police officer as a loyalist who gave himself fully into serving his country.
He was one of the finest because this is a kind of mission unaweza kumpeleka tu ambaye ni kurutu.
We are grateful for the privilege of knowing you, and we shall deeply miss your presence. We take comfort in knowing that your legacy will continue.
Kalonzo Musyoka, who was with his counterpart in the opposition Eugene Wamalwa, urged the government to call back the police officers due to the underfunding issues that arose while urging the government to ban the Social Health Insurance Authority and avoid overtaxing Kenyans due to high cost of living.
Hapa sio pahala pa kuja kuongea siasa, na tunakubaliana na viongozi wenzetu ya serikali yetu na mambo ya SHA na mambo ya housing levy, mambo ya ushuru wa zakayo. Hapana, hatuko kwa hayo leo, sababu wale wote wako na payslip hapa wanaelewa hiyo mambo. Wawe polisi walio hapa, wawe walimu, wawe wale madaktari, wanaelewa. Hatutaki kuongea mambo ya hapa.
The Kenya's contingent to Haiti, head of logistics, described Samuel as a patriot who has served the nation with dignity and respect, a statement that was supported by his counterparts in the mission.
It is with a heavy heart that I join you today as we mourn the loss and lay to rest the late APC Samuel Tompoi Kiatuai, one of my officers who died in the course of duty during an operation in security in Segar Savien within the Atponte region in Haiti. Kwa familia ya Samuel, viongozi walioko hapa, tunasema pole.
As the family of Samuel Tompoi mourns their son, many hope that this family will get support from the government since he has left behind a widow and 2 kids. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
For the first time since his ouster as the Parliamentary Accounts Committee chairperson, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro today spoke to his constituents in Kiharu, maintaining that he holds no grudge with nobody concerning the ouster. Speaking while he launched development projects in the constituency, he maintained that now all his focus will be on the development of Kiharu constituency.
Thank you very much,
I am thankful for the opportunity to serve Kenya as the chair of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee. These are the words of the outgoing Parliamentary Accounts Committee PAC chair, Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro. He added that he holds no grudge with anybody concerning the ouster and is ready to offer advice to the new chair if need be. The outspoken MP seems now to have chosen to play low-profile politics.
Naheshimu watu wote. Na ndio maana hata muhula yangu ya kwanza, hata kama tulifanya siasa ambayo ilikuwa very high octane, hata kama we were criticizing government, nilijaribu sana nisitukane mtu. Criticizing sio kutukana. Sio. Na kwa hivyo hata saa hii mimi nikiwa mbunge wa Kiharu, mimi nitaendelea kuheshimu watu. Lakini isikuja siku moja mtu aone heshima anapewa afikirie watu wako na uoga. Lakini kitu moja naona hakuna haja ya kufanya ni unarusha hii maneno na mimi narusha hii. Hata tukirushiana maneno haitasaidia wananchi wa kwako, haitasaidia wananchi wa kwetu. Na kana hiyo pia haitakumbukwa miaka ambayo inakuja.
Nyoro alluded to have been relieved of the PAC responsibilities and now shifts all his focus on matters affecting his constituents the most: development. Speaking while he launched development projects in Kiharu today.
If we have kurushiana kitu, turushe maendeleo ambayo itaonekana na isaidia wananchi. Na sisi tutaendelea namna hiyo. Ile programu yote iko inaendelea. Mambo yetu yote najua Mungu atatujalia hata tufanye mengi. Na mimi vile nilisema jana, nashukuru kwa ile nafasi nimekuwa nayo hapo mbeleni. Kabisa. Nimepewa na Wakenya nafasi. Kabisa. Wakanipea nafasi nikatumikia katika pale nilikuwa, na mimi kwa roho yangu sina maneno ya chuki na sina ile hatred na sina mambo ambayo ni ya kunikwaruza roho. Mimi sina.
The Kiharu MP has been in good political books with President William Ruto in the recent past, but all that seems to have thawed, likely prompting his ouster, together with other legislators not backing the government.
Staff wetu wa ofisi nikawaambia tunataka tutengeneze shule za Kiharu, sio kwa standards ya zile shule zingine tumeona Kenya, lakini tunatengeneza shule zetu kwa standards kama hiyo ya Cape Town, kama zile za pahali kwingine, because our children also deserve the best.
Victor June, GBS News at 9.
We are taking a break. We'll be right back.
Today, it's that day that I would like us just to have that conversation on monthly matters.
Let's talk of Mama Fua, who like akifanya shughuli zake hapa kule has more or less that amount.
Yeah, so on that part, I would say this. When you are doing your savings, we normally talk about having 3 buckets. So we will just talk about income, budgeting, saving, and investment. Those are the 4 areas we will look at.
Happens to those like me who are planning to retire early?
We are basically looking at our incomes. We also talk about savings and investment. So those are the 3. I will not add the 4th one, which we all shy of talking about. So I would say it's not how much I am earning, but it is how much I set aside. So
hello everyone! Welcome to Fun, Fun, Fun. Alright class, friends, do you know what we're going to make today? Yes, we're going to make a star. Now let's begin our class. Time to make. First, you're going to fold your paper into triangles. Ta-da! Now we're done with the star.
So through the 4 gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고,
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb,
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데.
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back. A Kenyan police officer in the UN-backed multinational security mission combating violent gangs in Haiti was on Tuesday injured during an operation in Kenskoff, southeast of the capital, Port-au-Prince. The unidentified officer was injured in the Belo area and evacuated to Aspen Hospital, where he's been treated in a stable condition. The mission spokesperson Jack Ombaka said in a statement, as Susan Nganga reports.
A Kenyan police officer, part of the United Nations-backed mission battling ruthless gangs in Haiti, has been injured in a tense operation near Port-au-Prince. The officer, caught in the crossfire in Kenkoff's Bellot area, was swiftly evacuated to Aspen Hospital and is now receiving treatment, thankfully in a stable condition. This incident hits close to home, coming less than a month after Kenyan officer Samuel Tompoi tragically lost his life in a gang ambush in Haiti and was laid to rest today in his home in Kajiado County. Kenya has committed around 800 personnel to this crucial mission, joining forces with officers from Jamaica, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Haiti's own police. They are up against staggering odds. Last year alone, Gang violence claimed over 5,600 lives in Haiti, a grim testament to the scale of the challenge. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Governors are set to hold an emergency council meeting this Friday to discuss significant budget cuts totaling to 25 billion shillings. A central issue for the governors is the exclusion of roads maintenance levy fund, with many arguing that counties should have access to this fund due to their role in road construction.
Governors are set to hold an emergency council meeting this Friday to address a series of significant budget cuts totaling to approximately 25 billion Kenya shillings. The cuts include reduction to several key donor-funded projects, which saw their budgets reduced.
There is, under the World Bank, a project called Kenya Informal Sector Improvement Program, KISIP. They have reduced it from 10.4 billion to 1.7 billion. You look at FLOCA, again, mostly programs that are ongoing, reduced from 4.9 billion to 2.5 billion. Who benefits from this?
Governors are demanding that the Senate reject these cuts and are seeking answers from the Treasury regarding these drastic reductions.
Yeah. So we're asking the Senate to stand firm and pass the bill that we had agreed with them, because we appeared before the Senate. We appeared at IBEC. We discussed these things in IBEC. We agreed.
A major point of contention is the exclusion of the roads maintenance levy fund from the budget, as governors argue that counties should have access to this fund, which is derived from the fuel levy.
We had taken a position as a Council of Governors that constitutionally only two types of roads are recognized: national trunk roads and county roads. So if you're going to tax Kenyans at the pump for the maintenance of roads, it's only fair that we follow the Constitution and give national government its share of those maintenance funds and give counties their share.
The Friday meeting is expected to unify the governor's stance on these budget issues, with tensions rising as MPs continue to oppose certain proposals. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
In a significant development for Kirinyaga County, the Sagana Industrial Park has garnered significant endorsements from key national government agencies, propelling the region towards becoming a pivotal hub for agro-processing and manufacturing. Now to the next story. A family in Mugambi Sharu in Murunduko, Mwea East Sub-County is in shock after it emerged that their Shamba boy has been sexually assaulted their 24-year-old mentally challenged daughter, who is now 1 month pregnant. According to Leah Bundi, the mother, her daughter went missing at around 7 p.m. after she went out for a shot.
A family is in shock after it emerged that their Shamba boy has been raping their 24-year-old mentally challenged daughter, who is now 1 month pregnant. Leah Bundi, the mother, says that her daughter went missing at around 7 p.m. after she went out for a short call, and efforts to look for her the whole night were futile.
Mtoto wangu alipotea saa 1 ya usiku. Nilimtafuta akakosa kabisa.
Huyu sister yangu alikuja akaniita, kaniambia mtoto wake alipotea usiku. Sister yangu alimtafuta usiku, wakamkosa.
The uncle stated that they wrestled with the suspect as he was trying to escape and tied him with ropes, and the suspect admitted that he has been taking advantage and raping the mentally challenged girl.
Kulienda inaonekana sio mara ya kwanza, amekuwa akilala na huyu msichana, amekuwa akimshika kwa nguvu.
The suspect is now being held at a police post, awaiting presentation to court. Members of the public who are able differently have now been urged to keep them close and monitor them as well to prevent them from being taken advantage by such criminals. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
In a significant development for Kirinyaga County, the Sagana Industrial Park has garnered significant endorsements from key national government agencies, propelling the region towards becoming a pivotal hub for agro-processing and manufacturing.
In a recent high-level site visit, officials from the Office of the Deputy President, along with representatives from key marketing and branding agencies, lauded the Kirinyaga County government's strides in developing the Sagana Industrial Park.
Kirinyaga County is right at the top.
It's amongst the top 2 in terms of level of construction, and we're pleased with that.
Kidende expressed optimism about the park's progress, anticipating its completion by June, aligning with national timelines.
We are very pleased at the level of construction that's quite advanced. We feel that they are on track to be able to complete by the 30th of June.
Lucy Coleman, CEO of the Warehouse Receipt System Council, highlighted the park's role in connecting farmers with industrial processors and markets, thereby stabilizing agricultural markets and improving post-harvest management.
I think for the Warehouse Receipt System Council and also the other agencies, we are going to see how the Kirinyaga County KIPES can be implemented in terms of actual operationalizing it.
Deputy Governor David Githanda reiterated the government's commitment to operationalizing the industrial park, emphasizing its potential to unlock economic opportunities and position Kirinyaga as a leader in agricultural value addition.
So we have various government agencies that came to Kirinyaga, and they want to see, there's a lot of assistance that they want to give to their counties, so that KIPES, as you know them, KIPES will be operationalized without any issues, without any problems, so that they'll make a difference to our people.
The Sagana Industrial Park stands as a testament to collaborative efforts between national and county governments as well as private investors aiming to revolutionize Kenya's agro-processing and manufacturing sectors. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
Social workers in Laikipia and Nyandarua are calling for recognition, urging the government to formally register and support their profession. Speaking during World Social Workers Day in Nyahururu, they emphasized their role in helping vulnerable communities and called for more funding for social services.
There is also another photo there.
Social workers from Laikipia and Nyandarua counties have urged the government and the public to recognize individuals and groups that dedicate themselves to supporting families and communities. Speaking in Nyahururu town during World Social Workers Day, Kinyua Wachira, a director from Lush Kenya, highlighted that their crucial role is helping people facing challenges such as poverty, homelessness, addiction, mental health issues and domestic violence.
Sisi katika utu wetu kama Waafrika, kama Wakenya, tumeumbwa na tunakumbushwa kwamba sisi hali yetu ya kimaisha ni kuishi pamoja na kuangalia shida ambazo tuko nazo kwenye jamii, kama ni wale watu ambao wako na ulemavu, wametelekezwa, ni vipi ambavyo tukiwa kama jamii tunaweza kuja pamoja na kuwasaidia.
Morris Mdiga from St. Martin Catholic Social Apostle emphasized that they are trained professionals working in hospitals and non-profit organizations. Mdiga noted that they offer counseling, case management, advocacy and community outreach.
Social workers are people who voice the suffering of people around them. They are people who speak with people in vulnerable situations of life and empower them what to do about their situation.
Dr. Babir Chacha from Laikipia University noted that while social workers has grown as a profession, the government should establish a registration body to formally recognize social workers. Chacha also urged more funding for social services, insisting social workers help clients navigate complex systems and access the support they need.
There has been no efforts for the state to develop programs that are based on social work in order to address the fundamental problems that we are experiencing in this country.
This request came about because social workers who help people in need often go unrecognized. Will the government fulfill the social workers' request to officially register social workers and provide funding for social services? Vivian Scalabo, GBS News.
It is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 2.144. We'll be back.
When we talk about health, about menstruation health, what does it mean?
Because women are uniquely made, they have something that is called periods, or they menstruate.
That makes us unique.
Every month and menstruation is very special and pure. When I was growing up, when I started, nobody was talking about it. I only learned when I had my first period, which is called MENA. I am called I had reusable pads. Our pads are reusable because they are made of cloth. Yes. If we didn't menstruate, they would not be there. So I tell them, boys, you would not be here if there's no menstruating. So how many of you would like to be fathers one day? All of them. So cramps is normal. If you can tolerate, you just try and vumilia. The same towel, face towel, you can dip it in warm water and just place it on your stomach if you are at home.
Right now she's in her early 30s. When she's on period, she gets mad.
You see?
Mental disorder.
She's proposed to, but she can't say yes because her uterus was removed, her ovaries.
Oh my God.
Without her knowledge when she was young.
Water remains to be the world's most precious commodity, but is the most misused. In times of drought, saving water is the only solution to making sure you have it. Don't use the shower when water is scarce. Instead, use the basin while bathing. Repair all leaking taps and pipes. Wash your car only whenever necessary. If not, use a piece of cloth to wipe it clean. Do not use the hose pipe to water your garden. Instead, use the water you clean your vegetable with to water your flowers. Do not release wastewater into rivers. Note that your downstream is someone else's upstream. Of all the waters available on Earth, only 1% is fit for human consumption. Every drop counts.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back to international news. In Sudan's war-ravaged capital, Al-Ban Hospital is struggling to care for malnourished children and mothers in desperate need of aid. Nearly 2 years of conflict have left half of Sudan's population facing acute hunger and famine gripping parts of the country. Limited supplies of therapeutic, milk and essential medications compounded by thefts and blockades, leaving medical staff struggling to prevent further suffering.
In a nutrition ward at a hospital in Sudan's war-stricken capital, gaunt mothers lie next to even thinner toddlers with wide and sunken eyes. The patient at Al-Ban Jadid Hospital are in urgent need of help after nearly 2 years of battles that have trapped residents and cut off supplies, but doctors have to ration the therapeutic milk and other products used to treat them.
For 70,000 people in this camp, we are expected to have 7 primary health care facilities.
Targeting 250,000 children throughout South Sudan over the year. It's a very ambitious target, but this is an area where we're already on track and we're reaching lots of kids. And you can see that we've had a war here for a very long time, since December 2013, and many of these kids in Unity, in Jonglei and Upper Nile, we have not been able to reach. So the situation in those areas in particular is very serious for the children of South Sudan.
About half of Sudanese population of 50 million now suffer some degree of acute hunger. A famine has taken hold in at least 5 areas, including several parts of North Darfur State in western Sudan. Medics and aid staff says the real situation could be worse, since fighting has prevented proper data collections in many areas. Ramin Adel, a doctor at Al-Ban Jadid, said many mothers are unable to produce milk, often due to trauma resulting from the Rapid Support Forces attacks or their own malnutrition. A lack of nutrition and sanitation has led to cases of blood poisoning and other illness. But the hospital has also run out of antibiotics. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
Now, in Turkey, authorities have arrested the mayor of Istanbul for corruption and terrorism charges. The mayor of Istanbul, who is the main rival of President Erdogan, was to be named as the opposition candidate for the presidential elections, which will occur in 2028. Meanwhile, in Gaza, Israeli military have conducted another airstrike in the devastated enclave, which killed 10 Palestinians. Abdi reports.
In a shocking move in Turkey, the mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu, was arrested earlier today at his residence. The authorities arrested him on serious charges relating to corruption and terrorism by supporting the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the PKK. In a video posted on social media, the mayor said he will resist against Erdogan's abuse of power. The main opposition party, the CHP, have accused the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, of coup attempt against the supposed presidential candidate. İmamoğlu was to be named as the leader of the opposition party. The Turkish lira took a 12% nosedive, falling into an all-time low of 42 to the dollar. The arrest has caused a mass demonstration in the metropolitan city.
We came here to support the mayor. They arrested him unjustly, so we are here to support him as the citizens of Istanbul and Turkey.
President Erdogan's office denied being involved in the mayor's arrest. Meanwhile, in Gaza, 10 Palestinians have been killed in the latest attack by the Israeli military. Hospitals have been overwhelmed following the massacre that happened yesterday. Israeli citizens took to the streets to protest against the Israeli government. The hostages that were released had this to say:
but of a breakdown in negotiations that could bring them home. Every effort must be made to prevent further loss of innocent life and to ensure that diplomacy continues. This war must end and all hostages must be returned to their families.
The situation in the Middle East presents a complex narrative on democracy in Turkey and humanitarian crisis in Gaza. As the main opposition was arrested, will the Turkish community be motivated to elect the opposition in the next elections? Will the Israeli government listen to the former Israeli captives to resume the ceasefire talks? This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
An exhibition celebrating African artists and culture took place at the Museum of Pompidou Center in Paris, the French capital. The exhibition, entitled Black Paris, explores the presence and influence of black artists in the city from 1950s to the year 2000.
The Pompidou Center in Paris is hosting the groundbreaking Black Paris exhibition, which explores the influence of black artists in the city from the 1950s to 2000. Featuring over 300 works by approximately 150 artists of African descent, many of whom have never been exhibited in France before, the show immerses visitors in the history of anti-colonial and civic rights struggles in Paris.
So you will see 50 years of that decolonizing story in Paris, and you will see all these artists and how they contributed at rewriting the history of modernism and postmodernism, how these artists reframed abstraction, surrealism, and at the same time you will see all the black solidarities that happened at the time and how these artists really created a Pan-African art history across black worlds, across the Black Atlantic, from Africa to the Americas.
The exhibition emphasizes the shared black consciousness shaped by the collective experiences of slavery and racism.
The focus is not the geography. It's more something about a black consciousness, a shared experience that is embodied in the exhibition by the circle in the middle of the exhibition. And here, what you can feel is what is this black consciousness. And it's a shared experience based on the experience of slavery and based on the experience of racism that is shared by most of the artists of the exhibition.
The Pompidou Center has acquired around 40 pieces for its permanent collection, marking a step forward in recognizing the contributions of these artists. Teresa Tiengo, GBS News.
Samsung faces tough questions from investors as it deals with weak earnings, slumping stock prices, and growing competition in AI and chip manufacturing. The company is now on the hunt for major deals to regain its market position.
Samsung has been under intense scrutiny from investors following a sharp decline in earnings and a dip in its stock prices. The company has faced growing pressure as it lags behind competitors, particularly in the high-demand AI and chip sectors. At a shareholder meeting on Wednesday, investors expressed frustration with Samsung's performance, calling on the company to find new strategies to revive its fortunes. Co-CEO Han Zheng shared his thoughts with the room of investors, emphasizing that Samsung is actively pursuing major deals to catch up with rivals.
We will improve the foundation of existing businesses with ultra-gap technology leadership for another leap forward, and will continue new challenges in areas such as robot medtech and next-generation semiconductors to secure new growth engines in the future of AI industry growth.
One of the key challenges Samsung is facing is the loss of market share to competitors like TSMC in contract chip making and to Apple and Chinese rivals in the smartphone sector. He pointed out that Samsung is more vulnerable than its rivals, especially if the US increases restrictions on high-end chip exports to China. China has become a critical market for Samsung as companies stockpile chips in anticipation of potential US curbs. The situation leaves Samsung at a crossroads, facing tough choices in navigating the global trade landscape. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
Following days of anticipation, U.S. President Donald Trump called Russian President Putin. Now, Putin has agreed to stop attacking Ukraine's energy infrastructure. However, the Russian president has not agreed to the U.S. ceasefire proposal. Furthermore, reports emerged that the Trump administration plans to halt efforts to stop Russian disinformation and program to track Ukrainian children who were kidnapped by the Russian military. Abdi Ahmed Ali has more.
Following days of high anticipation, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, called the Russian President Vladimir Putin in an effort to broker a ceasefire that will end the war. Putin did not agree to the 30-day ceasefire proposal that will end air and sea combats. However, he agreed that Russia will temporarily stop attacking Ukraine's energy facilities. American officials are hopeful that this marks the first step to find a peaceful solution. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the halt in attacking energy facilities. However, he said that Ukraine should not be sidelined in any peace treaty with Russia.
We support all steps towards ending the war. We will give support, but in order to support something, we need to understand what specifically it is. If President Trump can find time, he is a busy man. If he has time, he can phone at any time.
After the phone call with the Kremlin, reports have emerged that the U.S. intelligence will scale back efforts to combat Russian disinformation. Furthermore, the Trump administration will stop monitoring the abduction of Ukrainian children. Around 30,000 Ukrainian children were forcibly taken into Russian territory without the consent of their parents. Reports have also emerged that both Russia and Ukraine fired drones and missiles hours after Trump and Putin had the call that will pose attack in energy facilities. Additionally, Russia has gained the upper hand by removing a handful of Ukrainian soldiers in the Kursk region. As development arises in the Russian-Ukraine war, Trump's softened stance on Putin has yet again alarmed American partners in the European Union. It appears that the war in Russia and Ukraine will not end anytime soon, as Putin wants to integrate the captured eastern Ukrainian territories as part of the Russian Federation. Only time will tell how this situation will unfold. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Well, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again, same time, same channel. We make your news our business. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Madenge. Good night.
everywhere.